Hey everybody, how's it going? Thanks for bearing with me while I got through getting our app P150 ready for production. I am so excited to let you guys know that we're finally live actually on the web. And I've been spending a lot of time trying to figure out how to actually go from development to production. I've learned a lot of lessons along the way, and I want to share a lot of that knowledge with you today. This can be a little bit of a different format. We're not going to go through all the nitty gritty details of exactly what I did, but I will explain things at a high level and some lessons learned. So stay tuned. All right, so we're going to get into it. I am going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to talk about a few things. So one is how we actually deployed to production. So first of all, the thing that we needed to do was go ahead and deploy this to Vercel. So what is Vercel? Well, Vercel is a place to host your website. We've talked a little bit about all the different areas where we're hosting different parts of our site. So like our databases with Neon Tech, we have our actual code base is Next.js. We also have places where we store our data, like Amazon S3, like not our data, but our images, Amazon S3. All of these are different places and they all kind of connect together. But our main code is like hosted on Vercel. And Vercel is made by the same company who makes Next.js is Vercel, and they have these great servers that we are going to take advantage of today. So I just prompted and asked Cursor, how do I deploy to Vercel? And it helped me do it. I literally followed just all the steps. And during that process, I did learn like a lot of different things. One really important one was in settings. If you go to environment variables, you can basically copy and paste from your .env file. And if you guys remember, there's a file usually in your project called .env. I'm just moving my mouse here so you can see. If I click this, it'll show my env file. I'm not going to show it to you, but I can just copy everything in it and just go here and click paste, and it will automatically paste all my environment variables. So that was one really important step I had to get set up. The other thing I needed to do was I needed to go to Google Cloud Services. And this is where you manage your APIs. And I'll just sign into, oops, wrong account. So this is where you manage your APIs. And with Google, I needed to go to credentials, and I'm not going to go there because I don't want to show you like my keys. But if I go to API credentials, I needed to add my actual URLs to this. So basically, like app.b150.ai was the URL I'm using for production. I needed to add it there so that when I logged in with Google, it knew that was a safe domain to work with. So you'll just, all these processes will be documented for you when you do, basically go through all the steps that you need to go to production. And I literally just asked, what are the steps, to go to production? And Cursor gave me all the instructions and I just followed them. So do your work on that side. All right. So now that we understand kind of like some of the things to watch out for when we are trying to actually deploy to production, I do want to talk about like how to actually get this live on a website. So like when you're on Vercel and you go to your deployments, you can see that there is a special name here, b150.vercel.app. And this is the main, this is my site actually, like b150 Vercel.app. That's the one Vercel gives me. But I need it to be app.b150.ai. So what I need to do is actually connect my domain. So I purchased a domain, b150.ai. And so I can just go to settings, domain, I can press add domain, and I can tell them what it is. And in this case, I would press add domain, and it will actually give me some instructions of exactly how to connect this with my domain name provider. So you might be familiar with ones like GoDaddy or Namecheap. Those are the groups you'd go to purchase the domain, and then you would follow these instructions and connect your Vercel domain to that domain. Hopefully that is clear and makes sense. The other really important thing I wanted to note is that I set up staging. So let's talk about what staging is and what production is. So if we take a look here in environments, we have production and then we have preview. So preview is actually the same as staging. Okay. Now I've set up two different URLs, app.p150.ai, that's our main production branch. And then we also have our staging branch. You can actually see them here. That's app. And then this one staging. They are identical copies of each other at the moment. Why do we do this? Well, if I make a change to the code, I want to put it in staging first, in preview first, so that if I do something that breaks the site, it doesn't break production, right? Production is what all our users are seeing. We may have hundreds, thousands, millions of users on our platform. We cannot have it go down. So we need to test everything in staging first in a real production environment, not just in our development environment, because there is just so many errors that can happen in between. So it's really important to set those two things up. Again, I asked for instructions on how to do that. But primarily what it told me was we need to create two different branches. And if we go to GitHub, we can see them. So this is my main branch. Okay, I'm already selected on it. This is the one that goes to production. And then if we go click here and we drop it down, we can see there's a staging branch too. Okay, right now staging and main are identical. But if we make a change, we're going to make it staging, and then we're going to merge that to main. Okay, and as soon as it merges, that means it's going to go live to production. But if we just put it in staging and we push a new change to here, we'll only see it in staging. We'll only see it here. Hopefully that makes sense. So I wanted to mention that that's how we set that up. One tricky thing that I figured out was we needed to, one, connect our staging URL and our Git to preview. So I did have to add this, and I basically pressed create new environment, and then I chose the preview environment, which is this. And then I was able to select staging.p150.ai as the URL because I added that to my DNS, which is like, in my case, it's pork bun, but it could be GoDaddy or Namecheap. And then I selected staging as the branch that I wanted to look at when it comes to the code. The other tricky thing that I figured out was in environment variables, it was important to set up production environment variables, development environment variables, and preview. And in preview, I needed to add a special auth secret and a special URL. And in this case, the special URL is staging.p150.ai. And again, I just prompted cursor and it helped explain all of this stuff to me. But I wanted to note that these were some important things. So the other thing you'll need to do is you will need to go to Google services because since we have Google authentication set up, you will need to add these new URLs, in this case, staging .p150.ai to Google to authenticate it so that when you try to sign in and sign out with Google, it won't give you problems. Those are just some good lessons learned. Okay, let's see what other things we needed to talk about. All right. Avoid apostrophes when it comes to you're going to production. Apostrophes were a big issue for me when I coded stuff, or not coded, but I had content written inside of my application that was written with apostrophes. Basically, I had to go through all of them and add like a special code like this in between them. And that was kind of a big pain in the butt. And yeah, it took a long time to do. So that was one thing. Another thing I set up was Cloudflare. So Cloudflare has some really amazing free tier stuff. And this is cloudflare.com. If you ask Cursor to help you apply this, it will help you. But basically, what I was able to set up here is inside of security, I got these free bots that detect whether a bot is trying to scrape your site and like stops it from doing so, which is really nice. I'm sure there are other amazing features here that I don't know much about, but this is free, so I really encourage you to do this. This protects you from maybe like an AI web scraper trying to steal, content from your site. Okay, so we set that up. Another thing I learned was it's really good to test using npm run build. A lot of times you'll do npm run dev, and that's great. It works. Like it'll get your app up and running. But build like will actually show what's happening in a real build environment, and you can troubleshoot errors a lot easier than constantly having to redeploy to Vercel's production. This always takes like 2 minutes and 22 seconds to load versus like doing an npm run build will probably take like 30 seconds. So to save yourself some time and headaches, I recommend that. Let's see what other things I've got here. So we talked about this already. Yeah, and then another like word to the wise is don't launch to the world immediately. Like I luckily kind of knew this and didn't have to learn this lesson the hard way. But I sent this to a small group of users, just like 5 people I really trust, just to give me some feedback on the launch. And I wanted to make sure that I was able to address any of like the big issues before we actually get this in front of people. So launch in a small way. What I've done is I've protected the site using some invite codes. I encourage you to ask Cursor to help you create an invite code system, which is what I did. And so now I have a really nice system to protect people from going to app.p150.ai without knowing an actual code first. So that's one thing. And then also bug tracking, instructing your early users to either write you an email, or maybe you can set up your own bug tracking system, or maybe you want to purchase one, off the rack. Then I, encourage you to track those bugs, start to prioritize them and take them, one by one. So that is pretty much it for today, guys. The app is here. It's up and running. We got people actually posting, upvoting, commenting. It is just super exciting to be showing you this and showing all our progress. So more to come later this week. I'm hoping to start rolling out invite codes to more and more people. A lot of you have signed up, and I'm so grateful. And I'm very eager and excited to see all your feedback and and any bugs and features that we might want to build, fix, or build in the future. So stay tuned, and thanks again for tuning in.